Welcome. Old souls, young souls, and all my damn souls in between. Welcome back to season 2 of Old Soul in the Young World with your host, Jesse Ellie. And I'm here tonight, starting off season 2 with a very special guest. That's how lit it is tonight. Yo, I can't make that up. This bottle's been sitting for hours. It was so lit that it had to explode on my hand in season 2, episode 33. Welcome, Lisa Finelli.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How you feeling? How you doing tonight?
This is so nice. Thank you so much for having me. It's a beautiful night.
It really
this is like, this is New England fall. It's like,
facts.
Hot during the day.
New England ladies over here. Boston ladies.
That's right.
And, we kind of switched it up tonight for season 2. Usually we're in a Vibe podcast studio. Shout out a Vibe podcast. As always. And, tonight we decided to switch it up, do something a little different because we're celebrating a huge event next week, Boston Cannabis Week.
That's right.
Hey, and we got the co-founder right here for y'all. Lisa, I've known you from way back in the day. I don't even know. It kind of all blurs together. I feel like I'm just old now and I'm confused. But honestly, I really have known you since I felt like I was like a baby, like started doing my artistic shit to the point where, Lisa was putting me on to events that I wouldn't have had access to at such an age. And I will always shout you out for that. I have told people about you behind your back. You don't even know it. You don't even know it.
Thank you.
For real though. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think I was the booking agent at Hard Rock at that time.
You were, yeah.
And we started doing Femme Fatale Boston there, and we started booking some other shows there.
Many shows. You had shit popping. I remember every week or every other week it was like another event. I'm like, damn, I have to get in on this.
Yeah, we were. It was such a good spot, and no one was bringing hip hop there because it's near Faneuil Hall and it's Boston,
right?
So they let me in there, and I think the first one I did was Nappy Roots, and then we did a bunch of other ones, and then we brought Redman in, and that was the big show,
right.
And we did a bunch of others in between that did really, really well. Sky Zoo, I know we had Terminology on that stage. We had a whole bunch of people on that stage. So that was was back in 2015.
Yo, stop it. Wow, 6 or 7 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so for everybody watching and listening in who maybe doesn't know Lisa, if you haven't come across her page somehow or got involved in her dope ass events, just kind of want to let you know a little bit who she is. She is the founder of Experience Creative, the co-founder of Boston Cannabis Week, and so much more. We were just talking about the podcast that she put out, just honestly putting on artists. I've seen how many female artists that you brought into the game, that you've put on to the Boston scene, and me as a young woman, that's inspiring to see. And you've always inspired me with pulling people out who maybe wouldn't have had that, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to give you a chance to kind of say who you are to the people.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's so
and
sweet
I'm
of
gonna
you.
send you a cup while you do that.
Yes, please do. Thank you. So I am Lisa Finelli Fallon. I am the co-founder and CEO of Boston Cannabis Week. We also have our creative agency, BCW Beyond, and both of those things are very, very busy right now. Mm-hmm. Starting September 20th to the 26th is the third Boston Cannabis Week. We are super excited. I can't believe it's here. We have 7 in-person events happening throughout the week and 8 virtual events happening throughout the week. So we have a pretty full schedule. You can see the whole thing at bostoncannabisweek.com. Monday is our golf tournament, BCW Classic. Tuesday is a new event, Fashion on Fire, Sustainable Fashion and Glass Art Gallery.
Where's the golf tournament?
That is at Merrimack Valley Golf Club, right over in Methuen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Local.
And then Tuesday is Fashion on Fire at Warehouse in Somerville.
Hey.
Wednesday is the Conscious Community Education Series. Then we're also doing a Q&A with Dinner at Mary's. We're going to talk a little bit about cuisine and cannabis, which is fun.
Yes.
Our panels are incredible this year. We're doing...
Can I just shout out Dinner at Mary's? She's supposed to be coming on my podcast at the end of the month to celebrate this.
She's a partner of Boston Cannabis Week.
Yeah, she's really dope.
Her.
She's amazing.
Amazing chef, infused chef. And then we have our industry mixer on Thursday, which is already at capacity. Friday is the Weed Maps block party. Shout out to Weed Maps.
Shout out Weed Maps. Thanks for the bags at the event that we went to.
At our media event.
For real, yeah.
We have on Friday Super Smash Bros. And DJ Largechild performing, so that's going to be really fun. Saturday is our Experience Boston Art Music Festival. Hitting our stage, we have Freddie Gibbs, Mick Jenkins, Sky Zoo,
What?
Terminology.
Are you kidding me?
Jasmine Red.
What?
And Guru Sanal.
Excuse me?
It's going to be a crazy day. We're really excited.
Your lineup's crazy.
Thank you. You know what?
Is that sold out? Like, how do you get tickets?
So
What's
you
going
get tickets
on?
at BostonCannabisWeek.com. They
All
are
right.
moving fast. I'm so excited to say they're moving very fast. So go grab your tickets now.
I got to get on there.
Yeah, there's a very, very limited number of VIP left right now. So if you want that, you better grab it right now. Yeah, and then Sunday is Experience Wellness with, we have Trill Fit. We're doing cardio dance and restore yoga. We have Survivor winner Ethan Zahn coming to do a warm up and stretch. And then we're doing an immunity clinic with herbalist and cannapreneur Mika Brown.
Wow.
So we have a very full week. We have some incredible partners. I'm so grateful to Apothetherapeutics, Mellow,
out Apothetherapeutics.
Berkshire Roots.
Hey.
Really, like, everybody has been super
Yes.
supportive. We just had True Leaf come on board, Green Gold Group come on board. You can see the full list of sponsors and partners.
Yo, drop that bomb.
We have an
Drop
incredible
something.
list.
Hey.
So amazing. MCR Labs was our very first sponsor, and they have been with us by our side since day one. They have not left.
Shout
It's been
out.
amazing. So, and this year we're very lucky. So we have Boston Cannabis Week. We also have our creative agency, BCW Beyond, which does packaging and product sourcing and website development, social media marketing, anything you need, one-stop shop for businesses emerging in the cannabis community.
Wow.
So we also, our festival team has grown. So we have a number of people that have come to work for us this year, which I'm super excited about. And I had the chance to bring in Ned Wellbury of Leeds Edutainment to work with us on booking this year, which was super exciting.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
So
It got big and I needed help, and not just me, my partner and I were at a point where, like, we need more hands on deck now. And we have an amazing team. Felicia Pigney, Take Flight Strategies, has been running the helm at some of these events. Brandon Matthews is out and running our promo. He's literally in the streets right this second, hitting up events, putting our flyers all over Boston.
So many people contributing to one cause.
Yeah,
It's such a huge thing.
It's amazing.
It's grown.
We're now working with Lauren Prey, the Cannabis Barbie. She's joined our team.
One of my friends. Yeah,
so
she's been the podcast.
She's so
Shout out Lauren
amazing.
Prey.
Shout out Lauren.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Yeah, we have Michael Kachekian, who joined our team. He is worked with a ton of dispensaries in Colorado and out west, and now he's working with us on some of our dispensary partners out this way.
Wow.
So it's just we're blessed. Things are going well. We're really
Yes.
excited. And
Yes.
I'm really happy that it's here, and also questioning my sanity that we still choose to do this every year.
Yeah, I'm sure it gets fucking hectic for you. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy right now. There's, so
down to the so we're recording right now on Wednesday, just to put it in perspective. We're gonna drop this on Monday, so it'll be the first day when we drop this at Boston Cannabis Week. So Lisa would have been going crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
When this drops, we'll be finishing up the golf tournament.
There we go.
We're going to be heading over to our dispensary partner, Mellow. Everybody come check that out.
Come check that shit out.
Then we're into the whole week.
Yeah.
We're just days away now.
My gosh, it's so
Crazy.
exciting. Can I cheers you?
Cheers.
Yo, I have to, yo.
Salud.
Cheers to
Chantan.
you for everything, yo. You've been working really hard, honestly. Everybody listening and watching in, like, Lisa works hard as shit. Like, I've seen her go. She never stops, you know what I'm saying? Just to get to the point where she's at, to be able to do this stuff. It takes effort. It's not like, oh, when did you start this, Lisa? Did you start this yesterday?
Yeah, no.
Like I said, we met how many years ago? 7, and Lisa was already doing events.
Yeah, I've been doing shows and events probably since 2012, and then Boston Cannabis Week the idea was born in 2016.
Oh, really?
My business. So at the time, I booked Redman at Hard Rock.
Yep.
My now business partner.
Fire, yo.
Yeah.
Like, I can't.
And shout out DJ Deadeye Man, because he's one person that like over the years, I've been like, I want to do this thing and it's crazy, but can you help me? And he's like, yep, let's do it. And
There's people who just believe in that shit.
Yeah,
and they're like, come on.
He was one of those first people that like connected me to Doc and like made the whole thing happen. And and he'll be performing on our festival stage this year with Terminology. So he's been, you know, in the running around with us for a long time.
Yeah.
And my now business partner Scott Patano pretty much crashed after the meet and greet with Redman. At the time, he was working with the Boston Freedom Rally, and he said, "Would you mind doing this in 3 months with Method Man? Book it for us." And I looked at him like, "All right," and we did, and we raised the money, and we threw a free show on Boston Common with Method Man and Redman.
Wow,
And
for free? Anybody could
It was
go?
during the Boston Freedom Rally, so I wasn't. The Freedom Rally is a huge entity in itself. I was only responsible for the booking that year.
Yeah.
But that was when the idea was born. Scott turned to me and said, we should be doing a whole week. Like, this should be like Fashion Week, like New York Fashion Week. This should be like Boston Cannabis Week. So that he came from project management space and the technology space, but he was very familiar with New York Fashion Week and had attended it several times and was very familiar with that layout. I'm from New York originally, so like I know what that's about too.
Yeah.
But at first I was like, that's a lot to do.
Yeah.
And then we really started getting serious about it, and we're like, all right, we're going to launch this thing in 2019, and we did. Year one, we had 5 events over the course of a week. We were featured in Rolling Stone for our work in social equity in Massachusetts. We had Lupe Fiasco, Bia Slane, Latrell James, Marcella Cruz, Jeannie Santiago, No Hugs, Devil's Twins, and Lisa Bello.
Wow.
So
what a lineup.
They kicked it off for us. You know, they'll always, all of them will be family.
Yeah.
This year, Jasmine Red is an artist I've been working with for a long time, so I'm really happy to see her on that stage this year.
Hey, that's
and
exciting.
It happens to be weeks before she heads to Dubai for her global ambassadorship. She's being sent overseas by the State Department to go teach music in Dubai.
Yo, shout out to her.
Yeah,
What's her name?
Shout out Jasmine Red.
Jasmine, shout out.
And this event happens to be on her birthday, so it's going to be quite the party going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is special.
It is special.
Things have really come along.
They really come a long way. You know, Scott and I started this with nothing. We now have this beautiful team of people around us. Like, honestly, Scott and I could not make it happen alone.
Right.
It is this group of people that believes in the concept, believes in the idea, you know, and the fact that, so like Brandon Matthews works with us. He's been one of my closest friends for a really long time. And now I was able to like hire him and bring him into the fold. And even Ned Wellberry, Ned's someone that I worked with. I used to work for him at Middle East years ago.
Wow.
I was his brand and PR manager. So, it was nice to be able to come full circle and be like, do you want to, you know, get down on this? Like, and he was like, yes, like, let's do it. So it's nice to be surrounded by people who are like, believe in me, believe in the concept.
And the vision. It's like you need people surrounded with positive visions that you have too, you know? And I think it's rare to find that, but it's also, you have to work for it and you have to be consistent. Consistency is key to anything. And without you being consistent and the team being consistent, we wouldn't have what is it? 3 of Boston Cannabis Week.
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I know. We're really excited. And yeah, it's so true. Consistency is key. It's also the people you have around you. And, you know, I make it a point to never be the smartest person in the room. I'm a sponge. I learn from everybody around me.
Such a key fact.
It's so, because you shouldn't have people around you that you feel you can do their job. Every single person who works for our team,
100%.
I couldn't do what they do.
Right.
Like, I can't do what they do.
And that's what a team is. You know what I mean? You can't. And I think, you know, I've actually talked about this concept before. I think there's a misconception when we're growing up and we're raised that you do everything yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be this all free, do everything, you know, and it's like, it's not about that. It's about teamwork. And when you learn that people aren't your competition, you're only in competition with yourself and everyone's their own individual, and putting that together only builds growth and positivity and something so beautiful like this, you know, like it takes pieces of a puzzle, not just one person.
No, 100%. You're hitting the nail on the head. Like, it does
like having
take that
you here
team.
is like the head of like a whole team of people. Like, it just represents the whole week, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, and I have my moments too, too, where I'm like, where they keep me together. They're like, listen, this is going to work. It's, and my business partner, especially, Scott is the best business partner I've ever had. I'm very blessed that it's a partnership where we have very complementary skill sets.
Mutual, yes.
So it's really nice to be able to like build off of that foundation. So now we have this team of people surrounding us that's also built off of that foundation. And at the end of the day, we're all activists. We're all people who got into this because we feel that cannabis is demonized for one reason or another. So
that was literally my next question. So perfect, perfect intro into it. That's the main point about cannabis, and I don't understand why it has been so put down, because it's already legal, but you can still go to jail for it. Do you know what I'm saying? So we're at a crossroads where like we've legalized something that people are getting criminalized for, and how do we go past that? By hosting events that show, and that's what I was going to bring up actually when you were talking about the events that you're having next week. You can see how diverse they are. It's not just concerts, it's not just smoking. Like, you're doing wellness, you're doing stretching, yoga, like cooking, infused foods, teaching people. I think education is the key to misunderstanding concepts. Do you know what I mean? Like, we have to break through that barrier of what people have always been taught to see it as a drug and something that causes activity on the streets or prison, and we have to get past that and see what's actually causing that. It's not weed. It's not cannabis.
It's not. 100%. This is an ongoing, not even discussion. It's a problem.
Dispute.
It's a problem in this country. The fact that there are people right this second getting very rich off of the same thing that other people are sitting behind jail bars for.
100%. It's now an industry.
Right.
It's like gasoline. Like,
right. And I'm like, I'm a little older than you, so like I literally had friends get arrested for dime bags in the park. Like, I remember that. Like, there were times I was scared to walk around, like have a cop smell it on me. Yeah. We have this freedom now that a lot of people don't understand, especially I think it's like, and it is our right, but this is definitely a freedom that's new. But why? Talking about expungement and talking about these people that are, changing the laws, why that wasn't part of the first priority of this whole thing is beyond me.
Exactly.
But there are a lot. One of the things we're focusing on this year with Boston Cannabis Week, we actually did a panel that's going to be virtual, social equity across the country, across the nation. So we had people from different parts of the country talking about what social equity look like in Missouri. What does it look like in California? What does it look like in DC? What does it look like in Boston, Massachusetts? So that conversation and continuing to open up the lines of communication there and being like, we have to keep talking about this because something has to get done.
Exactly.
So this is a freedom that we've gotten, and we're very blessed to live in a time where we have this. But if we're not doing the right thing with it, then I kind of feel like we don't deserve it.
Right. Right.
And our company specifically, Boston Cannabis Week, will never charge for education. We'll never charge for networking. We feel like it's our responsibility to provide that to the community. So we'll figure out a way to do it. We'll figure out a way to pay for it. We'll figure out to make all that work. But I don't understand a lot of businesses that are emerging that are not even thinking about the community impact portion of this. And that drives me nuts.
100%. Yeah, because it is a trickle-down situation. People just see it as, one thing or the other, but it really does affect a whole community of people. Like, and just to play off what you said, because I was at this weird generational point, I feel like, where it still was bad. So I'm just a quick brief story, if you don't mind. Right down the street, actually, in Salem, I was at a gas station. I was probably only like 20 or so. I was pretty young. I was with one of my best friends, who's, I guess, doesn't matter, but Portuguese. And then one of my other best friends who is Spanish, and he's a guy. And he was in the back, and she was in the front with me. Oh, sorry, there's a bug in my face.
It's that time
you
of
see
year.
her, yo?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's that New England vibe. It's like, yo, I want to be on the podcast with you. I want to come right up on this mic and be with you.
Live rent free on that mic right there.
I'll leave you there for the story. But yeah, so we were at the gas station. Anyways, there's this car that pulled up, and my friend knew them. They sold a lot of drugs in the area, but he knew someone in the car who was just friends with him, didn't sell drugs. So he went up and said hi to him. This is my Spanish friend who's in the car. He came back in the car. I got gas. I was getting gas. So I went and parked at the gas station for a second to check my phone. We were like talking. All of a sudden, DTs roll up on me, not the people in the car with all the drugs right over there with all the pills who sell all this stuff, who this kid in my car knows does all this, pulls up on me with my best friend and then him in the back seat. They see that I had a blunt tucked away. They saw me put something away, so they come up with their lights in all of our windows, okay? And I'm just going to say, like, my friend, you know, I don't know at the time if he had a green card either. So it was kind of a situation where we were all a little shook. Mm-hmm. So we were just trying to be careful. Right. And so they saw me put something away. So they asked what it was. I couldn't lie at that point. So I gave them the blunt that we had rolled. You know what I mean? It was a blunt. Yo, I had
probably
nothing.
The best thing that you could have done was be honest and just be like, yo, here.
Yep. So at that time, I had a half that we had just picked up earlier in the day that we hadn't smoked in my purse in my car. This is bad, but I'm going to say this because it's facts, yo. This just shows how it is. So anyways, they proceed to take us out of the car. They search my whole entire car for some reason except my purse. Okay? They didn't check the purse for some reason. So the weed was not found. But if it was, we would have been fucked.
How do you not?
What I want to say is,
puking all over yourself? I would have been like a mess.
Listen, so this is why. Because when they took us out of the car and they asked us our names, because my friend's name, my friend who was in the back, his name's a little bit different. They started harassing him.
Yeah, of course.
They started harassing him about his name. They started making fun of him to the point where I literally was a young girl and I was scared. And I was like, why are you talking to him like that? I was like, he hasn't even said anything to you. And they were like, so what? Oh, that's your name? Oh, what is it? What is it? Like that. While they're searching my car for marijuana because I had a blunt rolled.
Yeah.
And I worked a long day. I was going to school. I get all A's in school when I was younger. I was, just wanted to chill with my friends.
Yeah.
And that's what situations can turn into over something that's so simple and I wasn't hurting anybody, right. But what were those kids in the other car doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So sometimes the priorities of where people's minds at are in the wrong place.
Right.
And we just have to change that vision because maybe if they had a different view, it wouldn't have been that. Right. They would have seen the right car. You know what I'm saying? So
there's also this narrative about it being such a dangerous drug. First of all, cannabis is a plant.
First of all,
it's a plant.
It's a fucking plant. Do you see these plants behind us? Do you see these flowers on the table?
Right.
Plants.
But if a doctor writes me a prescription for a bottle of pills, not anyone would think two things about it.
Nobody.
And they would say, fine. And I can sit here and take pills and drink my champagne all day long and no one would say anything. But if it's cannabis, no good.
Right. Because you can smell it? Question mark? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the... anyways.
I think it comes down to what everything else is. Fear. People are afraid. They don't like change. They're afraid of what this means, afraid of what this means to their family. Mm-hmm. There comes a point where everyone starts questioning the things they're taught, right? Like 100%. We hear things as a child, then you get older and you're like, oh,
what the fuck's that?
What is this about?
Like, I think that was BS the whole time, actually.
Like, I think you guys were just feeding me lines the whole time, and this is what I really think it is. So cannabis is one of those things that our kids are going to laugh because they're going to be able to like go to 7-Eleven and get a joint.
Cannabis. I know.
And I'm going to be like, we used to go in a back alley. We used to take rides with sketchy peoples and cars and this dude's Datsun. They won't even have that understanding of like what we used to go through to acquire that.
Right.
For me,
it was always sketchy. Like, yo, can I get like a dub? And they're like, oh, let me like put it through the,
For me, I was a kid with like real bad anxiety issues, like 15, 16 years old.
Same.
And doctors put me on Paxil. I hated it. I hated every second. I was like, get me off of this.
Yeah.
About that time, I had started smoking weed, but it wasn't regular. And then once I probably started right after that becoming more regular with it. And I had this awakening of like, oh, if I use this like medicine,
don't have to
use this thing that I hate so much.
Right.
And I had this realization at a very young age. And then I had people around me like, this is bad. This is illegal. This is like, I feel great now. I don't know why everybody's so upset.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, even the way our healthcare system is, I don't even want to get into that because I'll go off on a whole tangent. Mm-hmm. But the way our healthcare system is set up is not to treat diseases, and it's not to cure people. It's to mask symptoms. So I'm a big believer in unfolding all that. Right? Like.
Well, you have to uncover it.
Let's get to the nitty gritty of it.
Yes.
Let's, what we're eating, what we're drinking, what things we put in our hair, the chemicals, makeup. There's chemicals and all that stuff.
Everything.
So once you have an awareness of what you're actually taking in, I feel like you start to have a different appreciation for plant medicine in general. Like, oh, I don't always need the pharmaceutical thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very grateful for many pharmaceuticals, and
there's a balance.
There's a time and a place for them.
Yeah.
It's the obsession with our industry to keep feeding them to people that I really have a hard time with. I went to 2 doctor's appointments in the last 6 months where they were like, here, take a prescription for this. And I was like, I don't want it. I'm not taking it. They're like, here, take it. And I'm like,
I don't want it.
I don't want your hydrocodone or whatever. Like, I don't want it. Don't give it to me.
Yo, I feel you literally like... Lisa, everything you just said, I just want to 100% be like, thank you. No, for real, because it's so just another quick story. Like I have been in the same boat as you. So when I was very young, I started dealing with anxiety and depression, and I was being taken to doctors, and there was 3 of them, and they offered me pills. And I literally got in an argument, and I love my mom, shout out my mom, I love her, but like she was like, yo, that she wanted me to, because she saw that I was depressed and anxious.
Yeah.
I had a lot of shit I was just going through, what I'm saying, within my personal self, feeling like an old soul in the young world, not understanding why I was here, not understanding what my purpose was, but knowing I had a purpose, being mad young. Like I really I drove myself kind of crazy. But look at where I worked through it towards. Right. But the thing is, I never took them. So every time we got in an argument, I literally would never take them. I wouldn't even get the prescription from the doctor because I was so angry about it. And I was smoking weed when I was like 13. Right. So I started early, but it showed me a different path, like exactly what you're saying. And I know like maybe some people hear this and it sounds foreign to them, like they don't understand, but it has literally been a lifesaver for me. I have back pain. I went to the doctor 3 years ago, and they said that I had like rheumatoid arthritis in my neck already, and nobody knew what it was from. They think it was a pre-existing shoulder injury from when I was younger. Nobody can explain why I have this crazy back pain. Like, yo, if like my neck, like I literally like have neck problems. Like everybody knows it. My mom knows it. Everybody. If I sleep the wrong way, I like can't turn my neck for like 3 days. Like, and I'm young. Like you look at me and you might think I'm fine.
I have a therapist for you to go to. But she'll fix it in 3 sessions. But anyway, that's besides the fact.
Don't even tell me that.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I have this. She does that type of massage that like hurts.
But I
she
need
fixes
it,
everything.
yo. I want somebody like crack me into place.
Yeah, that's
you feel
what she'll
me?
do.
Like
She's
put me
amazing.
back into place.
Her name is Lynn. Shout out Lynn.
Stress. Shout out
amazing.
Lynn.
Lynn doesn't even. You can't even call to get an appointment. It's like you have to know somebody who goes and makes the appointment.
You need to know someone who knows someone to get in there. Yo,
but yeah, like I totally feel that. And the thing is, like, so your mom wanting that for you, that's how she knew how to fix it.
Exactly. And how she was probably raised. You know what I'm saying?
We have the gift of knowledge.
Exactly. And it was like an internal knowledge. It was so weird. No one ever taught me. I didn't have free education on cannabis. You know what I mean? And it's so beautiful that you guys offer that, because I wish when I was younger, someone was telling me it's okay that you're using this because you're like in pain or anxious or whatever, and not overusing it to the point where it was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as I got older, you find a balance and you know what's for you. Maybe in the beginning it was like, you have to find your way. But
I mean, I'm still finding my way.
We all find our way. We got a little something roll right here. Maybe in a little. But it just proves, though, the fact that if people look at you on the outside and they think they can judge like how, like you smoking or you using marijuana for anything or cannabis for anything, for pain. So many people use it. They have medical cards, but we still consider it a criminal activity. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when you're really looking into it and unfolding those layers, like you say, you'll see how much more there is to it. And when you hear testimony, I think that's like, you know, hearing people's stories, like, and I haven't fully ever talked about that, but like it's important for people to know that like just because you don't see it on the outside, you don't know the pain somebody goes through
100%.
like physically or mentally or spiritually or whatever it may be. You just don't know. And it is something that gives you an option without having to put a chemical into your body,
right?
You know, and that's very important to me. I haven't eaten meat for 10 years. So when you talked about putting things in your body, like at a young age too, I started getting sick and I didn't know why. It just started making me nauseous.
Yeah.
And then I started reading on it and then I started learning about it. I started educating myself and then I just couldn't do it anymore.
Right.
And it was like when I was like, it was around that time. So like 15, you know, so it's very like, sometimes you just have to follow your intuition. I think everyone listening in, it's important to realize like you have to know what's good for you. Nobody can tell you what's good for you. And you just have to understand that some people don't understand.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And adversity builds character, right? So all those things got you here because you went through them.
It makes you who you are.
But when you look at the real breakdown of things.
Yes.
So like we're all walking around acting like sugar isn't the worst drug anywhere.
High fructose corn syrup, it's literally a toxin.
And more people are sick and or die from sugar related things in their body.
100%.
So, but we're walking around like cannabis is bad. Let me just drink this Diet Pepsi real quick.
It's diet though. You feel me?
And listen, I'm not perfect. I actually,
no, fact.
My stomach was bothering me earlier and I stopped and got a soda and I literally walked in drinking it. This is like 3 times a year that I'm drinking soda. But like, it's true. And every time when I got it, I'm like, man, this is bad. I shouldn't be drinking this, but that's okay. But it's like, there's so many other things in our lives that are way worse to ingest than cannabis is. But we don't really talk about that whole thing completely. So that's kind of what, you know, we just want to bring that to the forefront. We want to be mindful about it. People shouldn't be going to jail for weed right now.
Right.
People should not be.
Kids shouldn't be having to hide it if they're depressed or anxious or have pain. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it should just be put on the table at this point.
Right.
We're working there.
We're on the way. And like I said, our kids are going to go to 7-Eleven and get joints and they're going to laugh at our stories about what we used to do. So we are going there. The fact that we live in a society or our community specifically, I can walk into a store and then buy weed. That in itself is like a blessing.
I know. It's such a come up, honestly.
Because and listen, like I do.
In the signs, you see all the signs when you're driving to Boston and shit?
Right.
There's like billboards everywhere now.
And listen, I'd be lying if I said that I didn't still, like, I support everybody.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Same.
So I'm not like just going to dispensaries, but the fact that that's there and I can go into one, and I do, and I support many dispensaries in Massachusetts.
Yes.
And it's especially important to support the ones that are doing good things in the community.
100%.
Because we're in a world where a lot of them aren't. So anytime, and that's why I'm so passionate about some of our partners.
Yeah.
Can
I just say, I was just thinking about the therapeutic.
Family owned.
We're going to do a little podcast shit. So I just want to shout them out.
They're awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Love Apatho. Love the whole crew there. They're so amazing.
I chatted with them at your event. I would love to talk about your event too, because it was so fun.
Oh, that was fun, right?
Yeah, your social media event.
We did a media event. It was like a media mixer for Boston Cannabis Week a few weeks back.
Bomb food.
Yeah, we had some barbecue. It was really good.
Real good.
We had it was the first time getting to see everybody in person.
Yeah.
We had some of our media folks there as part of the event, which was really nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know Chris Ferrone was working on the article for The Dig at the time. So
that article's amazing.
Thank you.
I just saw it before you
time.
came here. Yeah.
They did a really good job. And Chris doesn't write all the time always anymore, so I'm really honored that he wrote that himself.
Yes.
it was really nice of him to
blessing.
make sure. Yeah. So they had a whole cannabis issue. This was their whole cannabis issue. We'll have actually some of their digs spread around events for Boston Cannabis Week this year.
Yeah.
We'll also have like Sensei Magazine, Beasley Media Group, Hot 96.9, Spark FM. Miss Hot Sauce is one of our hosts this year.
Oh shit.
So we're trying to just incorporate the community, you know, any way we can.
Yes. And, you know, I think that's the thing that people also misunderstand is cannabis is an opportunity to give back. You know, it just like any other business, any business or organization, you have an opportunity to give back to the community and do better things and help people grow and help communities grow. But if you're not willing to do that, then it can't happen. So it's like, even like cannabis is still coming up, but they're still investing time and money in efforts to bring other people up with them. So I think that's just admirable in itself, and that in itself is building a community that will grow, you know, because they'll tell their friends and their family, like, who doesn't want to be involved in something so positive around this area? Because there's so much shit going on, you know, and having that light, that whole week of just like positive, dope, like events. I don't know. It's exciting.
Thank you. And this year we're very fortunate we did our first BCW Beyond scholarship. Ooh. And we have 3 scholarship recipients who are all SEEE applicants and minority-owned business owners who are doing exemplary work in the community, and you can't apply for it. It's something that our team just kind of
choose people.
We look around at the businesses who are really making tremendous impact.
One of the winners at the media event?
2 of them were there, yeah. So
I think I met them.
We have Marquise Neal of Lifted Smoking Goods.
Yes.
We have Bryce Hall and Devin Alexander of Rolling Relief.
Hey.
And we have Vanessa Jean-Baptiste of Legal Greens.
Woo.
So that's the 2021 scholarship recipients.
And what's the qualifications? Like, how do they get chosen for that?
They're just doing badass shit.
Yes.
Honestly. Like, that's what it comes down to. So our team is going out throughout the year and raising money that we can then put towards their resources.
Your efforts are not unnoticed, even when you think they are.
Yeah, you know, because there's a lot of scholarships that, like, you apply to all of them, right?
Right.
But we wanted to provide something that was more like, we just want to go identify people who are doing really good in the community and just tell them, like, good job.
That's fucking amazing.
The scholarship recipients will be at all of the Boston Cannabis Week events. We'll be helping to get their products into some of our dispensary partners and helping facilitate some of those relationships. Then after Boston Cannabis Week, they will sit down with our agency, BCW Beyond, and we'll help them figure out what areas we can help. You know, does your website need work? Do you need packaging? Do you need product sourcing?
So you guys bring the whole, like, the whole game to them, team, pretty much. Yeah.
And then the idea is that our scholarship recipients are doing great work in the community, but once we help give them some of our resources, then they're able to fly, you know?
Wow.
That's the hope and the dream. Hopefully that's where we get to.
And is that, just for anyone listening in who might be interested, is that like something they can connect with you about, and what's involved in it? Is it like a payment or plan, or do you guys work together as a team, or how would that work if somebody was interested listening?
In regards to the scholarship program, you mean?
Yeah, scholarship or working with BC and beyond.
Yeah, if anybody is looking to get involved with the scholarship program, shoot us an email, info@bostoncannabisweek.com, and we would be happy to kind of connect some of those dots. Yeah. Also, if anyone is trying to get in touch with our agency, BCW Beyond, you can email me directly, Lisa@bostoncannabisweek.com, and I'll help you get set up in all those areas.
Hey,
yeah.
She's the guru.
Now. Just not right now.
Don't hit her up in the next week. Give her a little bit, yo.
10 days.
Just give her like a little leeway.
Then, so we have September 20th to the 26th. 27th, I'm off. My phone's off.
Yes.
No,
don't hit her up.
Or outside world. The 28th, whatever you need, you let me know.
She will be there.
I will be there. I will be there to help you.
And like, is there anything else going on with Experience Creative right now? Because I know you've been so caught up in Boston Cannabis Week, and I've kind of, I haven't really talked about Experience Creative as much, but that was kind of, I feel like, your first baby in a way. Like, to me at least, I don't know. That's how I met you.
It was. Do you
mind if I light one of these?
No, go for it. No, it definitely is. Experience Creative is my first baby. Mm-hmm. With BCW just taken off like it has, we really had to kind of put the focus into what that brand is doing.
Yeah.
But Experience Creative is now part of the BCW family.
Beautiful.
So Experience Creative exists in our production, in our podcast production, and any of the stuff that we're still doing with artists.
Yeah.
That brand still exists, but it's all under the BCW umbrella now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're mixing all your future and past plans into one to make a bigger goal.
Just trying to, once you start to focus in on things, I'm constantly guilty of doing too much. I constantly take on.
Can you ever do too much?
Yes, you can, because you can do too many things that make you inefficient at all of them.
Wow. That's a key. Did anyone hear that? Yo.
Do too many things, it can make you inefficient in all of them. If you start to pool your resources as a community, as a team, as partners, whatever it is, the train seems to move a little bit faster. And my business partner as well, he has a business, Boston Hemp Company, that is also in the middle of a transition, but he had to look at his work life and say, okay, what's really taken off here? What's happening? And both of us had this moment of it has to be Boston Cannabis. It has to be.
Right.
It has to be Boston Cannabis Week.
Yeah.
So, and just the feedback from the community, how amazing and supportive everybody's been, and even down to the artists. We spoke to Freddie Gibbs' tour manager last night, and he was like, "Yeah, we're really excited," and we're like, "We're really excited."
Which day is Freddie Gibbs?
Saturday.
Is that Mink Jenkins? The whole concert?
Yeah.
Saturday,
September 25th. Freddie Gibbs, Mick Jenkins, Sky Zoo, Terminology, Jasmine Red.
And where's that at?
Guru Sanal, Underground at Ink Block, South End in Boston. Tickets are available at bostoncannabisweek.com.
Lit. Don't miss it, yo. I don't think I can miss it. I gotta go buy my tickets. Yeah, you're welcome. But it's just so exciting, seeing all the things that you're doing and the people that you're bringing up. And I just think that, in the future, do you guys see this? I see this. I already have a vision of it going so big. How do you see it?
I just want to get to the next 10 days.
Okay. No. I feel it.
Honestly, there's a bigger vision and there's a bigger plan and there's a bigger... Very quickly it became evident that Boston Cannabis Week is bigger than us. It almost has nothing to do with Scott and myself at this point. We're the two people that are replaceable in this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
We just run the company, but it's the community that makes this whole thing go.
Exactly, yeah.
So it became very evident that was going to take on different meanings. Mm-hmm. So as we're growing in the next year and as we're kind of seeing what's in the pipeline for us. Mm-hmm. I can definitely envision expansions into different areas, whether it be product lines or geographies or whatever.
Yeah.
We have really wanted to have a hold on how this concept works and how the community would receive it. And I think we really have a better understanding of that now. So... Yeah. I'm very grateful.
All the time, all with experience and testing things out. You have to fail before you come up, and or not fail, but you have to have your lows before you have your highs. So,
no, you definitely got to fail. I've had other businesses. I've had several businesses in the course of my entrepreneurship life.
Actually, I failed many of times. Me too, girl.
Every single one of them it led me to something else.
Exactly.
And now the path is very clear to me. I can see it very, very in my mind's eye and life. I can see it. So things are a little bit different now. Also, when you get to this point, I'm married now.
I was gonna say, and you got married recently. Congratulations! In the last 2 years, 3?
This October.
3?
This October will be 3 years.
Shut the fuck up! Wow,
but
time flies.
He works. Yeah, that's good. Applause for sure.
Yep.
He works with us too. We actually met.
Amazing.
We met doing a show in Providence.
Oh wow!
He was working security, and I was working for the Bone Thugs and Harmony show at FET in Providence.
Yo, you're so G.
And that's literally how we met. And I didn't remember
Redman, fucking Method Man, Bone Thugs and Harmony. I can't.
Yeah, so we met at Bone Thugs, and then we talked a hot second that day, and then a few weeks later we went back. And it was when I was working with Ned of Leeds Edutainment.
Yep.
And he was running one room. I was running the small room. And our other person we worked with, Jake, was in Boston running that show. Benjamin was working security and parked himself in the middle of the two rooms. It was evident very
like a
quickly.
perfect theme.
Like every time I walked by, he was kind of looking at me. And I was like, oh, this guy's kind of cute. All right. And then Ned at the time was like, this is work. You can't mix work with pleasure. And I was like, well, now I definitely have to because you just said it.
Yeah, right?
So
like, now I need it.
And now I'm going to go hook up with that hot security guard. I didn't think I was going to marry the dude.
Sir.
I did not think I was going to marry him. And the funny part is that my husband says that when he first saw me, he thought I was Ned's wife.
Oh,
because I showed up the show with him, and I was like, but you were talking to me. He's like, well, yeah, I was not going to not talk to you just because you were someone's wife. I'm like, ew.
That's so funny. You heard it here first. Old Soul Young World.
He's stand up. Everybody, he's a good guy. But,
I bet.
And he honestly, he helps keeps this whole train moving because
that's amazing.
My house is Boston Cannabis Week headquarters. Right now, you got to see there's my dining room table. There's 3x5 maps of venues. There's vendor things. There's gift bags. There's
everything.
It's literally our headquarters. This weekend, we will all be there putting together these gift bags for the golf tournament and for the VIP area.
Wow.
So right now it's swag central, but
swags swag friends. I can't even say swag central.
Yeah, but he's ride or die. He is the one that like he said to me first. He's like, experience creative is your passion, but you really have to think about what you want to do. And once I made that realization, I was like, oh, all right, this guy's right.
Right. But you're still kind of combining it, so it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah, and we still work together. Except now he thinks he's my boss, which is funny because he's not.
Sir.
Oh yes, he will say he's the boss, and I'm like,
I wear the pants here.
I don't know about that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I kind of just wanted to ask you, I've been curious myself, and, maybe some people listening in who are like, damn, you're doing so much and you've worked with so many people and some big names and whatever. Like, how did you even start making these connections or knowing these people? Or when you were, like, if you go back to the start of the start, how the fuck did you get into event, like, entertaining? Is this an aspiration or you kind of fell into it?
So it minimally started when I was in New York. Before I did all this.
You grew up there? Sorry.
I grew up in New York.
Okay. Till you were
in Queens. Grew up in Long Island. Lived in Queens for many years before I moved to Massachusetts. I moved up here because an agency moved me up here to work for them, an advertising agency. In New York, in the work I did, occasionally I would come across certain people. I remember my first upfronts I went to, I have a picture of like me and LL Cool J, and it was like, you couldn't tell me nothing. Like, it was like me and LL. Like, I didn't even.
Just me and LL, just nobody else
you couldn't even tell me nothing, right? And then, but that was always through the media world.
Yeah,
and then when I came up here and I got more into radio, we started working directly with some of the clubs. So when they would have different artists come to town, they would bring them by the station for us to do interviews.
Okay.
So before we knew it, we were getting like Michael Che, like decent size Artie Lang,
oh my God,
Rosie O'Donnell, and I was like, do they know we're like a streaming station in Boston?
And you were just reaching out, like
we were working at the time with Laugh Boston, so whenever anyone would come into them, they'd be like, hey, we're gonna bring them by as part of our media thing,
smart.
When people still went to radio stations to promote their stuff when they came into town.
Yeah, right.
So that's how the whole thing started. And when I was doing that, I started a show. I brought in, at the time, Ned to do this show Inside Hip Hop with Marquise Neal, who I didn't know. That was how I met him at the time, many years ago. And and so we were doing this show. Radio station got shut down by the parent company. And Ned's like, why don't you come work for me? Like, you're good with sponsors and all those things. And I was like, all right, cool.
Right.
And then suddenly I found myself in a nightclub 3 to 5 days a week around,
bullshit,
Bone Thugs and Harmony and Capone and Noriega
shit.
and Prodigy and like the list goes on and on and on.
Wow. So you up in a really
Onyx.
good position. That's crazy.
Like, so he was booking all these shows and I was working. So I was working with the sponsors for his shows.
Yes.
And that kind of started.
Like how many years ago was that? Like 10? 15?
No, October 11th is my 10-year anniversary in Boston. So this was probably 2012, 2013.
I didn't know you came to Boston that recently. I thought you were like
10 years.
from here. Like that's crazy. I never even knew you were.
Yeah. So I want to say it was about 2012, 2013, maybe around then. And then I worked with him for a while, and then we parted ways and I launched Experience Creative. Yep. And I had this moment of, I had two businesses back to back where I was working, where I had a male boss that then like eliminated my position. And I had this moment of like,
excuse me?
Yeah. I had this moment of like, never again.
Right.
Never again.
Right.
Are you anyone going to tell me anything about what I'm going to do? So I launched Experience Creative. That was in 2015. And then we were, up until COVID, we were very active. In everything with artists, with shows.
Oh, yeah.
And then, obviously, the last year has been a bit of a transition. But that's why it was so full circle to be able to, like, work with some of those people again. You know? Because, like, we had already started and we worked together really well. So it's nice to be at this place.
Right. It's like, you bring it all around. And it's like, now you guys can build something even greater.
Right.
You know, the vision has just grown into what it was meant to be.
Right. Yeah. And that's pretty much how I got in this industry. And also there was moments where I had people looking out for me. Crazy story. Actually, the first time I met Method Man and Redman. One of the wildest nights of my life.
Something.
It was one of the wildest nights of my life. Paradise.
The night that she met them.
They were playing the Paradise. And there was a plan. So I had gotten on the guest list.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lance Tobin. Always held me down.
Hey.
So
never forget those people.
Yeah, exactly. So we had a plan that Redman was going to go to the studio after to record some drops. And for some reason or another, it got too late, couldn't get over there, da-da-da-da-da. I ended up with Deadeye that night. We ended up getting a Zip car to go meet them and record the drops on the tour bus.
What
on my
hell?
like old ass iPhone. I literally still have the files in my email because it's like I have raw. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's insane.
So,
like, you trying to throw that on this podcast, though?
I said to him that night, I said to Redman that night, the next time you come back here is going to be because I book you.
Oh.
And I don't know what, like, honestly, I don't have balls like that. I don't even know why, like, I even had said that to him. But I was like, and I did. And I booked him twice in 2016 for Hard Rock and then the Freedom Rally. And I actually have a video that they made me where they go, "Thank you, Experience Creative, for sending our babies to college."
Oh my God.
It was amazing. But that was, and I actually have a video of Redman telling that story on stage at Hard Rock. He's like, "I met Lisa in this bus years ago, and she said, 'Doc, I'm going to bring you here.'" And here I am.
And here I am.
And yeah. So, like, that was a very, like, full, and again, that was like, Deadeye was like, "You can do this. Let's go get it. Let's go, whatever."
Thanks.
And we did. And so there was a lot of moments like that where I almost was too ballsy for my own good.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know what I was stepping into. I was like,
yo, it was meant
they
to
can do
be,
this. I can do this.
Yeah.
And my love of music, specifically of hip hop, goes back a very long time. So that's like natural to me to want to book that.
Yeah.
That genre of music
Who'd
specifically.
you grow up listening to? What do you listen to?
I mean, I was like strictly like Nas, Pac, Big, Onyx. Like, I was listening to that, Capone and Noriega. Like, that was Helter Skelter,
And then
all
you
that
booked
stuff.
them, right? Didn't you book them? You said that earlier, Onyx and
So that was a show that Ned had booked, and I
but you were there, so I mean that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny to hear voices that you've heard your whole life, and then like you hear them say your name, and it doesn't register. Like,
You're like,
I had this moment with Sticky Fingers where he like called my name across the room because he just wanted me to grab him like towels or something. It wasn't like I was doing anything, you know.
But you're just like me.
But I was like,
am I Lisa?
Yeah, like this Lisa? Yeah.
You like turn around and you're like, is there Lisa
Doc is
back
another
there?
one. He's like the few times he's like done that on stage with me, he's always like, baby girl, Lisa, come here, baby girl, every time. And I'm like, this is what do you mean?
That's amazing.
I don't belong here. Like, what is happening?
You're like, I don't, but I do.
I don't, but I do. I don't, but I do. But that happened because I was a fan and I'm determined and nobody's going to tell me no.
Facts.
That's what it came down to. Ignorantly, honestly. It's like, you're not going to tell me no, even when the no is probably the best thing.
Did young Lisa have a fucking attitude?
So bad.
I see it.
So, oh my God.
She's
so
like,
bad.
I'll tell you the truth, yes.
Horrible. Yeah, you really weren't going to tell me anything at that age.
You know, you gotta push forward.
I had a tough childhood.
People gotta take you seriously too.
Yeah.
I feel you.
It wasn't like, and believe me, people had way worse than what I did, but it just was like very tumultuous. There was a lot of drama. There was a lot of like chaos always. So it took me like, as an adult, kind of recognizing those bad behaviors and being like, oh, you didn't need to slam that gate. Now you got a hole you got to patch up, bitch. You know?
Yeah.
Like, but it took some
lessons
of those
for
moments.
yourself, yo. You have to teach yourself.
You got to take, sometimes you need to have those moments because it helps you grow up.
100%.
And like I said before, my husband's way more mature than I am. He's constantly like, what are you doing? You don't need that.
That's why he says he's the boss, huh?
Yeah, because he knows at the end of the day, I'm like, well, what do you think? But it's because I value his opinion, and he's incredibly intelligent, and he understands what I'm trying to do.
Right.
And that's really the most important thing, for me. Because the other thing too is like, there's so many snakes out here. There's so many people just trying to take advantage.
Wait.
So
What'd you say?
So many snakes out here.
There's so many snakes.
You understand?
So many Baldwin like that. There's so many. Shout out Ball wearing Big Rich tonight, recording, producing. Shout out to my podcast. We outside. We outside.
We outside.
We outside. Lisa, tell them.
We outside.
We outside. And we got snakes sometimes, so be careful in them grasses. You feel me?
And I've seen it. Even recently, like people will be very, very nice to me. And say, I love Boston Cannabis Week, and I love what you're doing, and I love this and that. And
then the support, though?
They get loose with their words sometimes in front of the wrong people,
Oh, you gotta be careful with your words, guys. Yeah, it's important.
It's happened, occasionally, but and that's fine. It is what it is. I don't need everyone to be my fan,
of course,
but,
or your friend.
I would just like the respect of. Understand that I'm trying to build something in the community, whether you appreciate it or not.
100%. And I can relate with my podcast. I feel like not maybe the back talking, but more support. Like it's like a lot of people say they support, but it's like, where's the support? You know what I'm saying? It's like something so positive. Like, look what we're putting out tonight. Boston fucking Cannabis Week. Somebody who's fucking awesome, supporting so many people in the Boston community. So, it's just about, seeing who's real, seeing who's not. And you know what? Honestly, worrying about yourself. I think that's the biggest thing that I've been learning over the past couple of years. Like, worry about you. Like I said earlier, you're your own competition. Like, literally no one can be you. No one will ever have your name. No one will ever see out of your eyes, be in your body. Just be yourself. No one can ever be who you are, and people don't get that. They just want to be other people.
Honestly, you need to say that again because it's so true. It's like
people want to be other people,
Yeah, it's like, understand that I had to get to this place too, right? Because like there's a lot of people I used to look at as competition. I genuinely feel like I don't have competition.
There's no competition.
There's no competition because I'm not competing with any other cannabis event out here. I'm not. That's not what it's about.
She's working with them instead.
Yo, there's room
just work with everybody.
There's room for everyone to do their thing.
Everyone can eat. My table is big enough. You feel me?
That's not Boston-ish, that crabs in a barrel nonsense where like I can't be successful and you can't be successful. So I got to make sure that you are not successful so that it doesn't impede on me.
Super successful. Like what?
Yeah, like that nonsense I'm not down for. Yes. So, and I'm not perfect. There are times where I feel hurt and I feel like, like, what are people actually doing out here, But at the end of the day, I don't have to agree with how other people are running their events. I don't have to agree with how other people are running their businesses.
Nope.
There's room for all of us to exist in this pond.
Right.
Honestly.
Even if we're not like always working together or whatever, we can just be mutual. Like there doesn't have to be any type of vibe. It can just be whatever it is. And that's it.
It's just cool to be whatever it is exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's in any, like, if you don't have a business or you're not working in the industry scene or whatever, if it's with family, friends, yourself, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can relate in any aspect of life. Just don't compete. Like, you are who you are. Right. And that kind of, you know, eases me into what I wanted to ask you. And I'm not sure if you heard this on the previous podcast, but throughout season 1, and today is season 2. So shout out season 2, episode 33. 33 is a very lucky number. It's about change, transition, positivity, you know, recognizing the people and things around you and your blessings. So, you know, check your numbers, recognize things. But anyways, wanted to ask you, and I've asked my other guests on season 1, and you can answer this in any way you want. You can literally be like, Jesse, I don't want to fucking answer this question. I don't care. You can give me a long, detailed answer. But just to you as Lisa Finelli, however you are and yourself, what do you feel like it means to be an old soul in a young world, even if you don't feel like you're an old soul in the young world or that's not what you vibe with? Just kind of what do you think it is?
I'm definitely an old soul in a young world, 100%.
Oh, shit. Old soul.
Definitely.
Oh, shit.
Old soul, young world.
Shut up, Alvin.
And my husband is too, actually. We talk about this frequently. We are traditional.
Yo, I'm going to have to bring him on, I think, one day.
He'll have, like,
We'll go deep.
Yeah, he'll go deep. He'll go real deep. It's very hard sometimes to communicate with people on certain levels when there's this gap of information, education, whether it's a generational gap or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I frequently feel like things that I hold very dear to my heart, things that are important to me, are far gone with the wind at this point. And sometimes, I've said to my husband several times in the past few months, I don't like it here. Like, I mean, I love this planet. I love our life. But I don't like some of the things that I'm encountering day to day.
Yeah.
I don't love some of the things that I'm seeing day to day. And I don't love the celebration of mediocrity in the way that we're seeing it on this level right now. And, you know, you can put that, and then that's not specific to cannabis. That's just like,
in any way that you want to take it.
We're just like happy to do this much. And I don't understand how the bar is so low, you know? And I'm not like saying that to slight anybody else. It's just, I always feel like I want to do better because I want my family, you know, I want my family to be proud of me. I want my husband to be proud of me. Yeah. I want my husband to be able to retire. Honestly, that's my dream. It's not even for like me to retire. I'll keep working. I don't care. I want him to be able to retire and like not have to work and like just pay our mortgage and just pay our bills and like let it be. That is like the ideal to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've gotten very far from that place where different things are idolized in this world that we landed in. And that's the part where I go, I'm an old soul here. This doesn't feel like where I arrived. When the alien ship first dropped me off, it was a different place.
It wasn't supposed to be this location, but it ended up being here, so I'm trying, you know.
Maybe 50 years earlier I was supposed to be, I don't know.
Honestly, that was such a beautiful answer, and it was so fucking genuine, and it was so real, and I really felt that in such a perfect way to start off season 2, because that's why I started the show. You know, I just always felt like I was out of place. Like, I'm like, why the fuck? Like, I literally, when I was talking about being depressed, being anxious, I literally used to say, why am I here? Why am I here? Like, I don't understand what this globe spinning in the space universe with these stars, and I'm supposed to believe that I'm supposed to do this and work a 9 to 5 and believe in all these things. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you just are taught a lot of things and it's confusing. And then when you start to, like you said, realize, you're like, but I don't think everybody questions. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. I think that's the differential. Yeah. Like, I think some people can go their whole life and maybe not ever have that question of why am I here, or what am I doing, or what's my purpose. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying there's a difference. And I think that, you know, being able to recognize yourself and being able to come upon those thoughts and really like go within and be like, yo, this is a little fucking weird. Like, I don't really agree, because it's easy to say you agree. It's not easy to say you don't agree. You know what I'm saying? When everyone else in the room agrees. Right. So you really have to put yourself and be vulnerable.
It's hard to stand up and be like, I disagree than all of your opinions, especially now more than ever. It's
100%.
like, you like the wrong tweet, and it's like you're done. Your career is done.
Watch out.
Like that's the basic
Make
levels
the wrong
we're down
comment
to.
and see what happens.
I heard I'm not going to take credit for this. I don't remember who said it, but I heard a comedian say very recently, and I thought it was a genius idea, that everybody on social media should have to be verified. That you have to have a certain level of clout, work, whatever it is, to be able to just run your mouth.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can get down with that.
I really appreciate that in a way.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Because there's so many people nonsense shit, just talking shit and then convincing other people of shit that they just talked. And like,
bots are a thing. People fight with fake computers online.
What's this?
Like,
bots.
Yeah, just
I
bots.
feel you. Yeah.
And like people are tweeting at each other with no picture.
Oh my God.
And not a real handle, and they're ruining their whole day.
Like
ruining their whole day.
Like you're lost in a technology in a computer. Like this world is so much more. You know what I'm saying? And to bring it back to cannabis, like our world is built off of nature. It's built off of, like you need to go back to the back of the back. Like, what did we come from? Right. We didn't have all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have this technology, these lights. I'm blessed to even be able to put this podcast out and be able to have a space and age and be in a day where I can talk as a young female. And then I'm given a voice that I'm able to put this out and not be, ostracized. Thank you. Yeah. Like, you know, because there's some people who still today in 2021, there's women who could never do this. You know what I'm saying? We still in 2021 have people who cannot speak out. But anyways, guys, we are really built off nature, off like literal plants and soil and earth and cannabis. And you just need to like be on the lookout and realize your own truth. And if you believe in things that other people don't believe in, question maybe yourself and question them, but really look within and see what's important to you. Because I think that's what Lisa said when she was talking about her businesses. One was a passion, but what was going to build and what was going to grow and what's very important for the future. And even if you don't know why you're here, like, I don't know, you have any advice to anyone who feels like they don't know why the fuck they're here?
Yeah, honestly, so it's like, you just got to find a thing that makes your heart happy. And it doesn't need to even be like what you do. My husband constantly says, be selfish. And him being selfish is like spending time with family and, doing the thing he wants to do, not what he is supposed to be doing or has to be doing.
Right.
It's like doing the thing you want to do.
Right.
Somebody once said to me, Dan Crothers of Stone and Skillet, very successful co-founder, said to me, go an inch wide, but a mile deep. And it took me a long time to understand what he meant. And he explained it at the time, but now that I'm doing Boston Cannabis Week full time, I understand what he meant. So he was saying, do one thing, do it exceptionally well, and do it better than anybody else. And that was his thing with Stone and Skillet, which is now available in restaurants and stores throughout the country.
Wow.
So with Boston Cannabis Week, that's the thing. That's the thing that we're going to do. And we're going to go a mile deep on that.
Yes.
So that's...
all out.
This year was, my whole team will say it, almost every call we ended with, all gas, no brakes, baby. All gas, no brakes.
Oh my God.
So this year was all gas, no brakes.
All gas, no brakes.
We're going to either, slide into the wall at 100 miles an hour or it's going to go.
Yeah.
So and literally even today we got off calls and everybody was like, all right, all gas, no brakes. See you later.
I feel like that's the name of the podcast now. All gas, no brakes. It has to be. Episode, fucking 30, fucking 3. All gas, no brakes. Season 2.
There you go.
But yeah, everybody listening in, like, guys, it takes work. It takes patience. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes pain. Like, it takes you learning and growing and going through shit to get to that goal. Like Lisa said, whatever it may be, your passions could be anything. If you're a writer, whatever it is, anything, like a hairdresser, I don't even know, but you guys can do it. Like, it doesn't matter what your goal is, just working towards it every day. And I think consistency is key.
Yeah, and you don't need permission. You don't need permission
from
you
anybody.
Write, just sit down and write.
Yep.
You want to
give yourself
start
permission.
A podcast, just turn on the phone.
Right.
Start doing it.
Right.
Give yourself permission to just be accepted and do what it is. You know, like you find yourself in really interesting positions and situations. Like I was when I came in, we mentioned earlier, I said, there was one time that I did smoke on camera.
Yes.
And
she didn't smoke on camera tonight, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, I had a little drink and I'm trying to be responsible.
I gotta drive.
I'm trying to be a little responsible.
Your husband's gonna like that. He's gonna be like, oh, that's my girl.
Yeah, probably not. He'd be like, she probably smoked before she walked in.
Cracking
that
up,
bitch is always high. That's what it'd be like.
Oh, it's amazing.
We actually would say Fiona's always hot. We call each other Shrek and Fiona because we're like
going to cry.
We're
That's
a family
so
of
cute.
ogres.
You're so
we
cute.
have 2 dogs. They're like we're all ogres. We just break everything.
Oh my gosh.
Dirt everywhere. My house is very clean, but like we're ogres.
Yes.
So so he'd be like, yeah, Fiona smokes weed all day. That's what she does. That's what she does.
That's amazing. Shout out Shrek.
So like the show with Redman, while he was here, they decided to shoot a music video. So I just get a text like, yo, come down to the shoot, dressed ready to be on camera.
Like, I can't say no, so all
right. But it's a Redman video, so what does that mean? Like, I'm not, like, I don't know, how do they think I'm going to show up, you know?
Right.
So I get there, and they're pretty much just a whole bunch of people smoking weed in a room. And I was like, I can get down with this.
Bags.
I can do that. So, the video is out there now. You'll see me in glimpses of it.
Where can we find that? Yo, I need to smoke
I haven't seen it in a long time. I mean, I was sitting here smoking with you.
Just kidding.
I think the song was called "Too High to Come Down."
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
So you already know when you pull up, you're like,
right. So, so that's sitting out there somewhere.
Imagine if you were like, nah, though. Like, I feel like they'd be like, get out, white girl.
No, he
would still bring you in. He'd be like, all right, do a little something in the back then.
Yeah. Well, you know, I wasn't really trying to like be in the video. I was like, how much of me is gonna be up?
You're like a foot or
like I gotta. It's I'm used to being around people who are always on camera.
I've never been in a music video. Is it like, were you nervous?
It's weird. No, because it's like repetitive. It's like the song keeps playing.
Just keep
they
doing
keep
it.
shooting. They keep playing. I keep rolling. They keep playing.
Yep.
We keep smoking. Like
Yep.
literally, that's all it was.
Cut. Start.
Yeah.
Cut.
Right. But you find yourself in situations like that. Like, is this real? Is this real life?
Facts.
You know,
Yeah.
like just kind of being in those situations, and some of the people I've been blessed to be around, and
Yes.
some of the people I've been able to see perform and be a part of their process is just wild. It's crazy. So, and now, with Boston Cannabis Week, so the first year we had Lupe Fiasco, Bia, and Slain. Bia,
Yes.
I was the last booking before she
I think I was painting at that show.
Yes, you
Was
were.
that outside the bridge?
Yes, it was outside that same
Yeah, I
park.
was painting at that show. It
Yes,
was lit.
and
Bia killed it.
The next day,
And Lupe
Rihanna was
killed it.
tweeting about her.
Shut the hell up.
And that was it. Like that. Yeah, Rihanna was into her song with Russ.
Oh, yeah, that's a dope
Yeah,
song.
that was so good.
Yeah.
So she's tweeting the next day. I was like, oh my God. I was like, yo, Rihanna's tweeting about Bia. And that was it. Like,
Oh my
so we were the
God.
last Boston booking before she like
Blew up.
blew up to where
Yeah.
she is now.
Good for her, yo.
And now this year, like with the artists we're working with, Freddie Gibbs is having quite the run right now.
Oh my gosh, he
So
is.
I am
yeah.
so excited to welcome him to Boston.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about him lately. At least that I've been hearing.
Yeah, there's
I
a lot
don't
of
know.
talk about him right now.
Yeah.
And Mick Jenkins too.
Mick
Woo!
Jenkins has been killing it since back in the day, yo. He's killing it.
Mick Jenkins had the best
The Waters.
Instagram
Oh
post.
my God. What was it?
He put up the Boston Cannabis Week flyer. And he said, yo, catch up with me in Boston. Cannabis Week only happens 52 weeks a year.
Oh my God.
I was like, this dude, I love this
so
dude.
Lit.
I love this dude already.
I love that.
Yeah.
Guys, and on that note, Boston Cannabis Week is every day, every week. We support Lisa and what she's doing with Boston Cannabis Week and, Boston Cannabis Beyond. Am I saying that wrong?
BCW Beyond.
BCW Beyond. And, thank you so much for wanting to come even talk to us about what you're doing, your growth. The event is going to be amazing, guys. I myself am going to be going. I hope you guys are going to be joining. Like I said, this is going to be dropping on Monday, the first day, which means you have the whole rest of the week. You can go to any of the events if they're not sold out because, it's lit. But it might be. But we're so excited and blessed to have you come talk about this. And, I don't know if you want to plug yourself or the Instagrams or any social medias for all your social medias, but if you want to.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. And this was so nice. It was so great to meet the whole crew and just be here and talk to you. BostonCannabisWeek.com for tickets. September 20th to the 26th.
Yep.
We have everything going on during the week that you could possibly think of.
Yes.
We have 5 free events available to the public. So there's no reason not to get down there.
No excuses, muff.
Thank you. Our incredible partners are all going to be down there. We have some fun games going on. We have live art going on. We have food vendors.
Come on.
We have all sorts of fun happening throughout the day. So please come down, support. Boston Cannabis Week is a women-owned business. We are a community-based business. So please come down and support all that good stuff.
Hey, you can hit her up on Instagram if you want
at Boston Cannabis Week on IG. I'm only Lisa Marie on IG.
Yep.
Send us a DM, hit us up, tag us. If you get your tickets, make sure you tag us. Maybe we'll give away some fun stuff.
Hey. So, guys, make sure you follow her. Look at the events for next week. Tune in on any day you guys are free. After you hear this, go check it out. I'm going to be there. Lisa's going to be there. It is going to be lit. It's going to be a great week. Again, thank you for everyone who's been tuning in season 1. We had so many great people on 32 episodes. I just put out a video on my Instagram. That's JESSIE_E_LLY. Don't forget the triple L. And, you can see that there. It has everyone listed in the credits of the video. Shout out Shaw for editing it. Shout out Baldwin Biz for all his producing throughout all the seasons in a Vibe podcast, for taking me under their wing and becoming my team. Shout out Lisa Finelli again in Boston Cannabis Week. We are just so hyped about this. So everybody, please get your tickets. Please go. Cheers to you, Lisa, again.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, everybody.
You can catch me next week here on season 2, Old Soul Young World, with your host, Jesse Ellie.
You've been on the move, been trying to catch up to you. How much more time do you need in this place? See you rocking a new taste. You've been on a wave, only a matter of time till you come my way. I'm still right here where you left me, and it's still not too late to make history. Though you and your friends say that I'm history, I know the truth. I know you can't keep running away from this all this time, and I'm still on your mind. Only we know what this is. You feel the difference. Don't lie to me. No, I've been dolo. Don't take this the wrong way. Throw